It's been a while since I've worn a mildly to wildly inappropriate t-shirt, so I decided to grace you with my presence with the favorite of my collection of said t-shirts. If it offends you, I would highly recommend you take a look at that. Get it together. Asana Breakdown. That was weak, bro. Hi, hello, and welcome to another Asana Breakdown. Today, we are getting into the warriors, okay? I am extremely passionate, all right? Extremely passionate about alignment. I have two jobs. One of my jobs is I teach yoga. My other job is helping potential yoga teachers refine their yoga sequences for yoga teacher training. That being said, let's fucking talk about the alignment in the whole goddamn warrior family, baby. All right, I'm fucking so excited to be doing this today. You have no idea. A lot of passion. Get out of here. Warrior 1, Warrior 2. I can do hard things. Warrior 3. And reverse warrior. Those are a bunch of different fucking poses, all right? Warrior 1, we got a different hip situation going on there, baby, and the back heel is down. Warrior 2, different hip situation, and the back heel is down. Warrior 3, back heel's not down, you're floating through space. Reverse warrior. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's talk about it. Let's start with our Warrior 1, all right? Take a deep breath. I'm not going to freak out. Starting in our tall, beautiful mountain. Great way to get there. Love that. Root down through the left foot and step the right foot back. Drop the right heel, okay? Notice how when I step back almost onto my big toe mound and then mindfully drop my heel so as not to twerk my knee, all right? And then gently guide this left hip back and maybe my right heel points a little bit further towards the back of my mat. Depending on your hip alignment, depending on your own anatomy, okay? For me, it works to have my right toes in quite a bit more, okay? So that I can see my front big toe. Maybe I even widen the stance. So we're in more of a neutral pelvis situation here. Again, high lunge. Warrior 1. There are two different things here in this house. So we're here in our Warrior 1. I even like to take maybe one hand to the low abdomen, one hand to the tail, and gently guide my hips forward and light up through that back leg. Press into the outside edge of that right foot with a deep bend in my left knee to make this a little bit more accessible. Maybe we have hands on the hips. Maybe this helps with mindfulness about how the hips are supposed to be positioned. Maybe we engage the core muscles to protect your low back, and we're not tucking our tailbone. We're drawing the tail down towards the earth to create that length in the spine. And we're here, maybe biceps by the ears, maybe hands at the heart. Maybe we shorten our stance. If you were to see my Warrior 1 on the other side, when I was going through my teacher training, the woman who was facilitating one of the classes asked me if I had a hip injury on my left side because my Warrior 1 was fucking out of control, like in a bad way. She was like, "Are you injured?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." So for me, it can help to have a shorter stance on one of the sides. One of the things I love about yoga is that we can do one thing a little bit differently than we do on one side, than we do on the other side, and still the end result is balance. So for me, it can help to have a little bit of a shorter stance on one of my sides. And we can be here. Feeling maybe a lengthening in the front of, in this case, my left hip crease as I press into the outside edge of that left foot. And again, the hips are in more of a neutral position. Finding the variation that works for you. And to come out, lift, in this case, my left heel, pivot on the ball of that foot, and come to your mountain pose. Or, okay, maybe we're in our warrior one. I see this in a lot of sequences. It's not my favorite transition. Not a huge fan of warrior one to warrior two, but anatomically, it's not necessarily dangerous. It's just, why would you do that? So we're here in our warrior one. You can take a deep breath in, lengthen, and on your exhale, heart spins to the left. All right, if we have our right foot forward, and we tee out the arms. One of the issues with coming from warrior one to warrior two that can make it a little bit clunkier is for people like me who have to have a little bit of a different stance in my warrior one than in my warrior two. For some people, it's a much smoother, much easier transition. However, I feel personally that population is a lot smaller than the general population of students. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend having a warrior one to warrior two, especially not a warrior two to warrior one in your sequence. So we're here. And you notice how I had to make some adjustments that would have disrupted my own flow had I been practicing in a vinyasa class, in a vinyasa setting, to make it to my warrior two. My favorite way to get to warrior two, and I'll break down the pose from there, is from high lunge. Okay, I like this way because my stance in my high lunge and my warrior two are similar. And my back heel is lifted. So I'm coming from a truly neutral pelvis, okay? Whereas warrior one, kind of neutral if you're fucking Gumby and your joints are made of jello and somehow you're, standing upright. For me, not the case. So I'm here in my high lunge. Maybe I take a deep breath in, exhale, twist left, right hand forward, left hand back, maintaining this head over the heart. Turn my left hand down. Maybe it catches the outside of my right thigh. Exalt my lunge, right hand up and back, deep breath in. And on my exhale, shift forward as I come up high on the tippy toes of my right foot, and then melt the back heel down as I kind of dance and unravel into warrior two. This gives me the length I want and helps me set up that hips width stance before coming into my warrior two. That's just my own personal preference. That's kind of my favorite way. Also, it's kind of fun, it's kind of pretty, it's kind of graceful, whatever. So I'll turn around, pretend I did all that the other way. And we're here in my warrior two. Your warrior two may look a little bit different, all right? Your warrior two may have a shorter stance, a wider stance, even a longer stance, okay? For me, I'm going for the practice I'm going to do for the rest of my life, which is this warrior two right here. Teeing out the arms. Again, maybe I gently guide the hips where I want them to be by placing one hand in the low abdomen and my other hand across my low back. And I hear a lot of cueing in classes. And this is how I was originally taught warrior two. Back heel parallel with the short edge of my mat. All right. When I do that, I can tell you right now, my knee doesn't like that. Doesn't feel right. Not painful, but just feels unstable. Okay. And I have to work really, really hard to maintain a gaze on my front big toe to fix this. I shift my weight into my right heel and slowly turn my right toes in just a bit and then re-rotate that right hip out so I have this nice space here in the sacral area. And then look at that, voila, my foot has revealed itself. My knee feels more stable. I'm pressing into the outside edge of this right foot. Core is engaged. And maybe my heart and my gaze are this way, okay, facing the long edge of my mat, totally appropriate. Or maybe I gaze down the front middle finger as I tee out the arms Maybe even come back just a little bit, lean back just a little bit to get that alignment of head over heart over pelvis, and then wrap my right bicep out. And I have a long line here, and maybe I sink a little deeper. And I'm in my warrior two. If I wanted to transition from here to my reverse warrior, I can flip my left palm, keeping my base steady. One of the biggest portions of feedback I have for anyone teaching a yoga class is if you are going to incorporate dynamic upper body movement where you want your base to stay stable, build your base first. Give your students an opportunity, give yourself an opportunity to build your foundation here. So we can maintain this alignment, stay embodied in our practice, flip the left palm on an inhale, shift forward, lengthen, almost like in our Trikonasana, through the side body, continue following that breath, maintaining stability in my base. Maybe right hand melts down the right leg and left hand reaches up. We want to reach up, okay? And then maybe we begin to bend, all right? So we lengthen up and then bring a bend. Find length and then extension. Maybe even gently pull this left thumb back. Maybe bring right hand across the front of the abdomen. Maybe bring it around the low back or to bind on the top of the left thigh. And on an exhale, just come out. Just come out of that. However the fuck. Come out how you came in and then have a seat. And then have a seat here. Just chill the fuck out. Okay, let's check out our warrior three, all right? Oh my God. Let me tell you. My left quad, bro. That shit's on fire. Warrior three, flying warrior, airplane. Okay, whatever you want to call it. Let's see that shit. Oh, bruh. Gonna have a leggy stretch after this, my dude. So this was bent. Now this one's bent. Okay. Oh, all right, I'm gonna have to go back in one more time because let me just explain briefly. Yep. The safe way to come out of your warrior two so that we are promoting in a space conducive to injury prevention, okay, especially around this area, okay? This fucking ball of spikes and spice and danger, this zone here, for me. I don't know about you, but for me, the devil lives in here, okay? That's where he's hiding, in my kneecaps. So we're here in our warrior two. Again, finding that alignment. And I saw this in a Yoga with Adriene video, and I love the way that she made it a full body yoga experience, incorporating the arms while maintaining this safe transition back to neutral for the right knee, okay? I don't hear a lot of cueing of the heel and the knee when it comes to transitioning in and out of your warriors, okay? Very important. So we're in our warrior two, and what we do is we'll take the right hand and slowly bring it down, almost like we're drawing a semicircle with the right hand. And as we do this, lift the right heel, pivot the ball on the ball of the right foot, bring your hips back to neutral, inhale, high lunge. And from here, go wherever the fuck you want. Go wherever your heart desires. Maybe if we were to take a look at that on the other side, we're sweeping the left hand now down, lifting the left heel, pivoting on the ball of that foot, finding your high lunge, taking a deep breath in, and on your exhale, launch, engage the core. Think length versus height here, and slowly find a long line from crown to heel. Maybe turn the left toes down to keep that neutral hip stance, okay? To keep that neutrality in the hips, keep that left hip wrapping down, lifting from your left inner thigh here if we're balancing on the right leg. Maybe firing up that left glute. Maybe we come down, bring hands to blocks, hands to heart, okay? And find more of a standing L situation. Or maybe you have a chair, okay? All options and proptions welcome. No modification is more or less than the other. It's not because it's too much or too difficult. It's because it just feels better. And this is about you and your time. Fuck everything else. Everyone sucks. And you're here. I'm going to come out, bring a little bend to that right knee. Maybe we gently tap the left toes down. Maybe my favorite is to find a little core engagement, hug everything in, think cat spine. Bring the left foot, find this little flamingo shape. Bring the left foot up. Left foot meets the right. Inhale, chair pose, mountain, what have you. And that's it. Those are all the warriors. And those are all the things that I want to fucking hear about them from anyone, everywhere. If you want to have a warrior one, all right, that looks like this. If you want to have a high lunge and call it warrior one, do it. It's not none of my business. Literally can't breathe. Oh my God. Sweating. Anyway, happy Easter. That's what day it is today here. It's the Lord's Day, baby. And let me tell you, God, she's tired. She needs to take a fucking seat. Have a little lay down. Oh, hi, PC. My cat is looking at me like I'm Satan incarnate. Oh, but anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope you have a lovely, emotionally safe holiday if you celebrate. I hope you have a lovely, emotionally safe Sunday if you don't. Live your life. All right. The thing that I love about the warrior family is the strength, the vitality that can be felt when holding an empowering shape like that. Spiritually speaking, when talking about the subtle bodies in reference to shapes like warrior, we're creating space in the sacral area, all right, the home of your intuitive, fluid creativity. We're making space in the solar plexus area, your manipura, ruled by fire, core strength, the home of your unbridled courage to be yourself unapologetically. So if that's on your list of things to do today, have at it. I love that for you. I will see you again next time. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. Next week, I'm thinking of maybe breaking down snail or plow. Those are kind of fun. Or even, taking a look at some ways to integrate a wall into your yin practice. That's something else that, I don't know, just makes me feel super good. And I would love to show other people how to do that. Again, thank you. I hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your week. And I will see you again next time. Namaste. You're a princess.